Chevy.
Oh, that's one of my favorite cars.
Well, another $80 down the hole for the Volvo project. Got gloves, degreaser, paint, coolant, brake fluid.
All for a low price of $80.
We got a lot of stuff to do. More than I thought. It's gonna be a good time.
Bleed the brakes. Paint the engine.
Pull the intake manifold.
Clean the engine bay. That's gonna be fun.
Redo some wiring, redo some hoses, vacuum lines, timing set, water pump.
Alright, got the bay pressure washed, air nozzled all of it, and while the rest of it's air drying, we're taking off the intake mani and getting ready to prep the rest of the engine to paint it.
And we're redoing vacuum lines and some spaghetti factory wiring that's gonna get tightened up.
Got the intake mani off. Cole is doing one more once over with some degreaser, and we're gonna get all up in that business, and then we should be ready to paint after it dries again.
Yeah, we'll clean it off. Color good.
Sounds good.
Out comes this. Easy peasy. So these two bolts I just took out of this. It's a PCV box. There's no valve cover vent on these red block, so-called red block Volvo engines. It's a B230 is the model. Anyway, so they breathe through the block, and then they have a bunch of recirc hoses that go through emission stuff and the air box. So this is plugged because it's never been replaced, and the flame trap, which is this, there's not even a trap in there, it's just open. So raw, dumpy, reburnt gases have been going through here straight into the intake manifold. So I'm replacing everything like the OEM and mild upgrades while we're there.
You're kind of under the impression that that is the cause of all your blown seals, right?
Oh, for sure. So when that stuff's plugged, there's nowhere for the vent, the crank pressure to vent. So blow seals.
It's got to find some exit path.
Yep. Putting just a little bit of right stuff silicone on this old hose because it's kind of hard, and this hose right here returns to the sump. That's the one that was kinked before up underneath, and I didn't get a new one. Plus I've heard they're kind of a pain to replace, so it's not hard like bad, but I'm not going to replace it right now because it seems okay. So I'm putting just a skim coat of Right Stuff around the mating surface. Just got this pulley off, got the belts off, and we found that if I want to do kind of an easy, cheap AC delete for now, I could just run a longer belt because this pulley lines up with this front part of this pulley. So I could just run a longer belt and eliminate this belt from it's like an underdrive setup. So this feeds over here right off the front crank pulley.
And then the compressor feeds the power steering belt.
Yes, and what we could do is just go straight from this pulley over and eliminate this belt to the AC. Well, my daddy was a sailor. I'll tape up my injectors or pull them off, paint this blue, tape that. Figure it's gonna go on all crusty or paint it and 10 minutes later it'll look good. This is pretty tasty looking. Pretty tasty indeed. What's going on? This has been a fun day. Lots of stuff. The vacuum lines have been kind of a pain. We figured it out. There was 2 hoses extra from someone else, and I'm like, where do these go? They had it all bent up and kinked and it was folded. The PCV kit I got from IPD hooks to the flame box, which is that brick I showed you earlier. Anyway, I think I've got it still. So this is the old one. It's mounted under there just like that. Tube comes from IPD. It's about that long. Then there's a flame trap, little PCV kind of deal, which is this guy. A vacuum line hooks to here, goes straight to the manifold. This goes straight to the intake, just like that. It's cake. That was easy, but to figure it out from what was there was kind of a pain.
Nightmare.
I still got one more line to hook up for the booster. Oh, it smells burnt. Oh, it tore. Sick.
So Cole decided he's going to powder coat the valve cover. The old paint's kind of chipping off on it, so we're not even gonna worry about it. And we're just gonna move on to timing components, water pump, a couple other goodies. And we gotta start by taking the crank pulley off. All you need for that crank pulley is a 24 mil or 15/16 in standard.
This goes down there like that, I believe.
It looks right.
And I gotta take this cover off, get in there, clean it up, re-glue it, color it. That's gonna be awesome. Dude, it's tried and true, man. As long as you don't hit anything going in and you don't go too deep, it can't hurt nothing.
Got the timing cover back on the bottom portion and it's secure.
Yeah, there was missing some screws in there, but yeah, got her tightened up. Tightened up.
Some Gomer pile thought it was necessary to have those.
Yeah, they're just cover bolts. Who needs those?
Boy, your belts.
My belts need those.
Yeah, while I was gone, they took my wheels off the MR2 and put them on here, and they look like straight Vatos on. So these wheels seem really hard to make look good on anything. I thought they looked decent on the MR2, but at any rate, these will do better than the Steelies until you get the wheels you want.
Yeah.
Oh, you put the headlights on too.
Headlights. We fixed a couple wires. My dad helped me solder those. He's got some cool solder butt connector things. They're like melt-in. I can't remember what they're actually called, but those are nice. Fixed a couple grounds. Painted my valve cover temporarily, and it's a different blue than I wanted. I'm just gonna powder coat it down the road a bit, but for now, that's that. And let's see if we can't get these Blakes bled.
Blake's bled. Just got a box of trash from IPD.
Oh, dumpster. Watch it be like one of these.
Let's see what this swag is. Oh, dude, paper. We've always needed paper.
If I can start a fire. Oh, dang, I got a hat. Yeah. I'm gonna not wear it and ruin it.
That is right there.
No.
Who did this special stuff for you?
Megan at
Megan.
I hit her up on Instagram because no one was answering their phone because they were so busy. And I said, hey, I need parts like ASAP. She said, call me on this extension. And I didn't even ask her for anything, and she sent me a free hat. And there's the master. This is, oh, it's candy. She gave us a candy bar. What? Chocolate.
2 candy bars, homeboy.
And a sticker. So,
What else is here?
All new brake lines, high performance.
Stainlands?
Oh yeah. And what's this? Brake junction block. That's the part that was bad. and the master.
Oh, that's that valve on the back, huh?
It's
Or
underneath up front.
Oh,
So
that's one up
all
front.
the brake lines run to this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a safety thing right here that talks about when you need brakes. And I think that's what's bad in mine. And you can't just get the solenoid thing or the safety, whatever that is.
Sensor.
Yeah.
Sludge sensor.
Yep. That's more than likely what it is.
All right, we're about to put in this distribution block right here. Silly design if you ask me, but it's throwing a code on the dash for this being bad. I can only assume that it's covered up in sludge since this thing hasn't been driven in a while, and when we did bleed the brakes, it was Sludgeville in the reservoir. So yeah, we're gonna get this swapped out, put these braided stainless lines on, and then go from there.
Wheels that we ended up going with are made by a company called Square, and they are 5x114.3 on the center. They're 9.5 wide, and I adapted them to the vehicle using an adapter. It's 1.25 inches, so that's why they poke out a little bit, but that's the fitment I was going for. So this is the exhaust. I did it from the downpipe there, about a foot, and then a 6-inch cherry bomb. Had a couple of bends made, and then I pieced them together to make this nice tight fit. So from the outside, you can't see it, doesn't hang down. And then this is a tip from MagnaFlow, and it hugs the body really close. It comes out just in front of the rear control arm mount there. So I have one weldment, and it hangs off a factory hanger and donut. The front is just the stock header downpipe piece, couplers added on that adapted up to 2.25. So this is 2.25 all the way back, and I used ceramic paint on it to keep it from rusting and to kind of maybe help keep the heat down. We're out back underneath the car. My alignment was a little bit off. You could visually see it, one side of the wheel poked out farther, so I made an adjustment on this panhard bar, and you could literally watch the spring straighten. Now the thing that sucks kind of is, in order to adjust it, you have to unbolt it on this mount right here. You can't just adjust it in place. They should have done a female that was reverse thread so that you could adjust this bar in place without removing that mount. It was a little bit of a pain to center the axle what we ended up using was a come along from this side of the axle, and then we pulled it this way, and we just mounted it to one of the stock holes in the chassis to pull the axle to the side. Did it with a tape to get it close. So the alignment isn't perfect. I got to take it into the shop, but it's definitely closer than it was. At least I can drive it now without it pulling to one side. Well guys, thanks for watching. We got a lot accomplished on the 240 in a short period of time. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and stay tuned for the next one. See you later.